Well, good morning, yeah, afternoon, evening. I guess it's morning, afternoon, evening somewhere, everybody. Anyway, hey guys, it's Reed Booth, Killer Bee Guy. We're here talking about killer bees. We're going to give everybody a few minutes to log on. We're on TikTok and YouTube Live. No, this is not a flask or a vape. These are the microphones. Because as you know, we're outside and the damn wind blows and blows my hat off and makes the mic sound weird and all that kind of shit. So I'm holding on to the mics so everybody can hear me, okay? So anyway, we're talking about killer bees. It is what is the beginning of October, right? And November. I don't know. It's the beginning of October in another planet. What the fuck? Anyway, I don't know what time it is. But what's so weird about it is now down here it's really nice and warm. Today it's been cold at night, but we did that live stream a few days ago down on Kentucky Killers. You guys might have seen that, and we were asking people what temp is it where you're at because right now I don't know what is it, guys, like 65 or something. It's absolutely beautiful, like 65 degrees. Been getting down into the 30s at night and then warming up. Absolutely beautiful. But we had people. It was 25 degrees that morning, and we had people in Maine where it was 80 degrees. Yeah, and Illinois, it was like 78 or some damn thing. And so, of course, what we're trying to figure out is what are the bees doing in your neighborhood? Right. I mean, uh, beekeepers in Canada, the maple trees have buds on them like it's spring. What in the hell? You know? And now, of course, you guys know I'm not political, I'm not religious, don't give a shit about any of that. But you know what I attribute it to? Global swarming. Get it? Okay, guys, that's technical. You guys can laugh out loud, for God's sake. We got Hosh on the behind us, and you'll meet in a minute a new addition to our family, Westward. She is going to be working with us on bee removals, on everything, whatever needs to be done, right? Yes, yes. Okay, awesome. So you meet her in a minute. But we want to give some people time to log on and ask some questions. Of course, we're talking killer bees. What's going on in your neck of the woods this weird ass winter? It's not even winter yet. I guess it is in some places. Apparently here, but not in Maine. What in the hell? I mean, in Quebec, the maple trees have buds on them. What in the hell's going on around here? So, if you guys know any beekeepers or even exterminators or people that deal with bees in your neck of the woods, what's going on? Because this type of behavior, this type of weather will confuse bees, will confuse other, plants, obviously, people too, though they're really easy to confuse. So, yeah, we're talking killer bees here. A little bit of history about them for anybody that does not know. They're a man made experiment gone wrong. Well, their 90% went right, and boy, that 10% though, it went all to hell in a handbasket because when they crossed the European bee with the African bee, they came up with an Africanized bee. Okay, the crossbreed. Well, why in the hell would they do that? Well, most of you guys already know. You've been following me for a while. They did that because money. They wanted to have a higher producing honeybee that would be disease resistant. Well, they got all that shit, but they also got the meanest bee in the world. Changed the face of beekeeping, changed pollination habits, changed the competition for our native pollinators, changed the world in honey production. Really kind of a huge mistake. But they're here. We're not getting rid of them. We're stuck with them. And get this, everyone, they're in all the lower 48 states. Yeah. And Canada. Yes. So, has anybody got any questions for us, Hosh?
Well, yeah, somebody's in New Hampshire.
Yeah.
Should they be afraid of killer bees?
Well, you don't need to be afraid of anything anywhere. I mean, we live down here in the desert. We got rattlesnakes and killer bees and every other damn thing. You don't need to be afraid of them. Being aware, educate yourself, know what to look for, just like anything else. You don't put your seatbelt on in your car anticipating a wreck, right? And so, same thing. But here's the news from New Hampshire. There was a stinging incident 3 years ago, I think it was now, in Manchester. Africanized bees. Yeah, I'm sorry to say it, guys. They killed a beekeeper in Connecticut. I mean, really, right? And the old guy had two hives. You guys have heard me tell this story before. Two hives, and he went out with just his net on, t-shirt, no gloves, just like I used to do. And he had 2 hives, and he went out and popped the top board on one of them, and it had become Africanized since they had been come down to visit them, and he didn't make it back to the truck. So this is part of the problem. You can't tell by looking. They look the exact same. They are a honeybee. They're just a super duper honeybee. They're like a Frankenbee. Okay, so they're in New Hampshire. Sorry, guys. I'm sorry to say it. They're in all the lower 48 states. We had we did a live stream a while back, Q&A like this, and we had somebody on from Illinois. Beekeeper said they're raising havoc with beekeepers in Illinois. I believe it. Billings, Montana. We had somebody on, right, Hosh? That said, yeah, that said that there were killer bees up there. It's just a shame. And what really is bothersome for us is all of the denial that's going on out there from beekeepers. It just sucks because they're going to get themselves in trouble and other people by it's just something that we have to deal with. It's a fact. When diseases come in that wipe out European bees, which is every 20 to 25 years, that's why these damned Africanized bees were bred to begin with, was to get rid of that problem. Well, they did. Now they have the other problem. Did people were people in denial about varroa mites or tracheal mites or colony collapse? No, they weren't in denial about it. It's just something that was happening, and we got to deal with it. Well, Africanization is along those lines. It's something we have to deal with, especially as beekeepers. We have to be responsible beekeepers. Okay, we should let people know what is going on with these, not be in denial about it and be angry at like myself. I'm the devil, as everyone knows, because we kill bees and we tell the truth. All right, now so I shaved my horns this morning. I know they're still coming out 5 o'clock, shadow type of deal. Anyway, beekeepers generally hate us, but all they're doing is telling the truth, and I'm not happy about it either. But they're here. They're here to stay. So has anybody got any? Come on, pipe in, guys, who join us and follow us. And we're on YouTube also. Subscribe and all that good shit. Who's got some questions for us?
Well, people want to know how to identify them.
How to identify them? That's a really good question. And that's a huge problem. It really is just a huge problem. You can't tell by looking. The only way to really identify them is genetically, lab testing. Now, how do we know this? I was here in Cochise County at this ranch in the beginning. Now, I'm not talking, like the beginning of the world and all that shit. I'm talking when the Africanized bees came across the border in about 1993. Now, since then, when they come across the international border, I call them bee legals. It was a joke, guys. Come on. Fuck. I mean, anyway, okay. Okay. So they came across, and this was part of the problem was I was a beekeeper. Where everybody had a few hives in the Cochise County in Arizona in the desert Southwest, but you couldn't tell by looking what the hell was going on. So the state of Arizona had us send samples of all the swarms that we would get and bees up to the laboratories in Tucson for testing a percentage of Africanization, see what the hell is going on around here. And in 1998, they called up everybody and said, the laboratories called up everybody that was sending them samples and said, don't send any more. It's over. They're all Africanized. It's a done deal. Yeah, so that's the way. You can't tell by looking. It's a real problem for beekeepers. For small beekeepers, you got 2 hives, you got 10 hives, whatever. We had a gal out here between here and Sierra Vista, had 4 hives. And she had them right up by the garage. Now, this is about 5 years ago, so they're all the wild, unmanaged, feral honeybee hives in the state of Arizona are genetically Africanized. Well, she was trying to keep her bees European. And she had great suits for the kids. She was going to teach them all about, honeybees, bless her socks, And she did not know that one of her hives became Africanized. And I'll explain how that happens in a little bit here. Somebody remind me. Anyway, there's too many squirrels in the world, or bees. So she had these 4 hives, and she got the kids all bundled up one day, and she went out to check on the queen bees' awesomeness, and she popped the top board on one of the hives. Well, they came out with such a vengeance that they stung all the kids and her through the suits and chased them in the house. Then killed all of her chickens, ducks, and geese, 30 birds. Yeah. 30 birds. She called me up and said, come and get every damn one of these things. I don't know what happened. And so I explained it to her how they became Africanized. It's either through crossbreeding or, you guys have heard me say it before, World War B. Anyway, it's where this is really weird, and I've been standing in the middle of one, and of course, after 30 years of doing this and thousands of hive removals, it's really neat. I live a sci-fi life. It is so cool. And so I've seen it where you've got a stronger Africanized hive in the neighborhood somewhere, say within a mile radius. Well, I said stronger. Well, just like every Chihuahua is not an ankle biter, every Rottweiler is not mean. Everything has different temperaments. Same thing with Africanized beehives or European beehives for that matter. The problem is you can't tell from 1 second to the next how they're going to behave. With European hives, we could always tell, but Africanized, no. So you got a stronger hive in the hood somewhere within a mile radius, and they will come in. They're Vikings. They love to steal honey. Okay, that's a fluff job for what's going to happen here. It's much worse. They rape and pillage. So they will come into every hive in a 3 mile radius knows about all the other hives. In case they can steal honey, they ain't it for Sunday brunch. Okay, these guys are horrible. So your Africanized stronger hive will come into either a weaker Africanized hive or your nice European hive that you have in your white boxes, or maybe they're living under your shed or something like that. Well, they'll come in, and I've actually seen it. They will kill all of the bees from that hive. All right, World War B. They're rolling around on the ground. They're in the air, stinging each other. They will kill all of the bees and sting the pupae to death, sting the babies to death. These guys are totally merciless, and either steal all the honey and go home, or worse, move in. So that is how your nice European hive, whether it's in a managed box or under your shed or where the hell it is, your nice European hive can go Africanized in 2 to 3 hours. You don't know. You can't tell by looking at them. Africanized bees are mutts. They're a crossbreed of all of the different types of European honeybees, which there are shitloads of them. There's Italians and Germans and Carnolians and all sorts of Russians and all sorts of different honeybees, European honeybees. And they crossbred them with the African, which is pretty much a pure strain. Well, the crossbreed is a mutt. So you can't tell by looking. You go out to your nice hive, you pop the top board, you're like, oh, my little honeybees, and they come out and try to kill you. And so they were getting a lot of people from all over the country now, beekeepers having, on all the forums saying, wow, my bees went nuts. What is wrong? They've never done this before. And everybody's in denial about it. Everybody's like, oh, were you wearing cologne? Did you have your hair down? What was the weather? Well, fuck. Nobody even contemplates Africanization. They should, because it's a different breed.
Well, the implications are just massive.
Yeah, the implications are just massive. Exactly. A host was just saying, yeah. I mean, it's actually negligent, right?
It completely transforms the industry.
And
eventually, I truly believe it's going to eradicate the hobby beekeeper.
Well, it has in Arizona.
Right.
I mean, the only people that keep bees as a hobby in the state of Arizona are not in the right mind. I mean, if you have bees in the state of Arizona in your yard, whether they're managed or unmanaged, okay, if they attack someone, you're liable. So it's really foolishness. Unfortunately, like I have to say to everyone, the honeymoon's over. These are not our grandfather's honeybees. They have revealed their true selves, and it's not pretty, right? We must have some questions. What's going on?
So what's the difference between African and Africanized?
Oh, that's a really good question, actually. It's a matter of about between 4 and 6%. That's it. Now, we're talking 4 and 6% European genes. Now, the African genes are so strong and so powerful that when they cross them, one for one, an African queens with European drones, it didn't dilute the genetics enough. There's still all of the Africanized bees are still 96 to 98% African genes. But that 4%, 6%, 2%, whatever it is, in the mix is enough to throw a cog in the wheels and just screw everything up completely. Now, granted, they make up twice as much honey. And they are tough as nails. Disease don't affect them. Nothing fucking affects them. They're just really amazing. But they're meaner than hell. Every week in this county in the summer, just in Cochise County. Now, this is the Wild West, okay? And Tombstone's like 20 miles away and whatnot. And so it's a very rural county farming, ranching primarily. But every week in the summer, they kill a dog, a horse, or a goat. Right here. The average number of killer beehive removals in Tucson every year, just in Tucson, 10,000. Yeah, no shit. So, so you can't tell by looking. They were on purpose. They succeeded in every way but this way. So they're a royal pain in the ass is what they are. What kind of questions we got, Hosh?
Well, how do we fight back?
How do we fight back? You know a guy. That's right. You don't run. You know how you always say it's a fight or flight syndrome? No. With these guys, it's flight or flight. Actually, it really is. Actually, I want to have Westward come and sit with me and tell her tale of woe because Westward has been in the bee suit. Now, not a lot, right? But she's going to be working with us on all this shit. So we were out at the slaughter ranch.
Yes.
Right. And now Westward had never been in a bee suit before. So this was quite the eye opener. She's like, am I sure I want to do this shit, right?
Yeah, I was nervous.
Yeah, and yeah, you were nervous,
Yeah.
and well, rightfully so.
Yeah.
Right, and so, but you got in your game. You got in. We had you triple gloved, right?
Yeah, triple gloved, and he put me in the bee suit and duct taped up all the zippers and tucked everything into my boots.
Yep.
And I knew I was safe in there.
Yep.
So-
An interesting thing that Westward did say afterwards was, when you get in the bee suit and we tape you in, you're in there, and something that I'd never really thought of very much, but
Yeah.
a little claustrophobic. You said.
Yeah, I said, no, I'm really in this. This is happening right now, and I'm in it to win it now.
Yeah, right. It's all or none, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's all or none because,
Yeah.
like I told her. Well, then after about 20 minutes, you're like, "Thank God I'm trapped in here." You know.
Oh, totally. Once I actually saw the bees when we cut down that tree,
Yeah.
it was such a strange experience.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow,
The
like
bomb.
watching you on film is way different than actually being in the suit, being there with bees all over you.
Yeah.
When I was filming, they were all over my hands.
Yeah.
They were all
Well,
over
you got
my...
stung.
Yeah, I got stung like a few times. Something happened with my glove.
Right, or glove ripped or something like that.
Yeah, and I had the camera. I know they don't like the dark color too.
Right.
They were all over
Right.
my hands.
Yeah.
And that's when shit got real for me.
Shit got real. Talk about a trooper, though. Stuck it out through the whole thing.
Yeah.
That was when Perry was with us.
Yes.
And if you guys look at Bringing Down the House, and I
Yeah.
just put that video up a couple days ago on YouTube, the full-length vid. Perry was in that one.
Yeah.
And pretty awesome shit, right? And Perry will be coming back actually working with us, conjunto, with all this wonderful operation. Because next spring, you know, we had such a major monsoon this
Yeah.
year. Now, this is all Mother Nature. It's a desert, just add water, right? And so that heavy of a monsoon can translate into all winter and next spring because there are seeds that are, now that it's winter, kind of, I mean, it's really kind of nice, actually, but it's winter here, it's dry, you know, all the wildflowers are gone. Those seeds are still stored up that moisture. And so there will be a wildflower happening, bloom in the spring. Hopefully we will have kind of a wet one. It's already been pretty good. But if we get some snows and some rain, especially in January and February, then we're going to be kicking ass in the spring. And so we've had April, so it usually starts about mid-March to end of March, something like that, with the swarms, and which is nature's way of propagating the area with bees, is swarming. And so and then all hell can break loose. And you know, in a normal summer, we'll actually get 10 to 15 calls a day here in the county for bee removal. And this year it was practically almost nothing. I mean, it was really, really slow. But as you guys have seen from the vids, here, hold that for a second, I gotta get some water. As you guys have seen from the vids, they were all meaner than shit. I mean, just fucking vicious. I mean, you got to see Portal to Hell, where Hosh was in, and they were clinging. I've never seen that actually. They were clinging so much to his suit.
Clinging and digging.
Not like
Yeah.
bouncing, clinging and digging. Yeah. God, that sounds like a German polka song or something.
Can you talk about that with the weather too? Because I've noticed that the bees have been a bit intense lately when it's getting chilly here.
Yeah.
And I've noticed that
They're
like where I've been
A
staying,
little pissy.
they're a little pissy. And there's a lot of them. So I was curious because it's now November and it's colder and maybe people don't know either about how the weather might affect them.
Well, and it
Somebody
does.
made a comment that they die or in the cold?
Well, okay, bees don't die in the cold. Well, if it gets cold enough, and of course they will. So would I. Everybody, wasps and hornets, they die off in the winter. Bees do not. Now, the difference between European hives and Africanized hives in the fall is, for one thing, Africanized bees work at lower temperatures, like a lot lower temperatures. Anything above freezing now, and they're out looking for something to do. Whereas in the old days with European bees, 50 degrees, maybe 45 degrees, they're in having cocktails. Fuck that. They're watching movies and shit, have fire going already. And then about 15 years ago, we started seeing that temperature drop. And it's like, what are they doing out at 40 degrees? These Africanized bees, this is weird. And then it was, high 30s and then mid 30s. And what the hell is going on here? Now, anything above freezing, including on a full moon.
Wow.
They will actually work in the middle of the night on a full moon. I've seen it. I saw it back in the early 90s, mid 90s with my own hives when I had hives here at the ranch. So they're just weird. And also a difference is Africanized bees are pissier all the way around.
Yeah.
It's like, no wildflowers? Well, fuck you. I'm going to go sting something. That's literally what they are. They're
just meanies.
They're just meanies. Yeah, they're bullies. They're meanies. They will actually fight each other and European bees, if we had any, which we haven't had for a long time, on flowers.
Wow.
They will fight each other. It's like being at the bar.
Like from the same hive?
No.
Okay. Because that's
right. That's the thing. Right? They are conjunto. They are working together. They're the same Viking tribe.
Okay.
They're all named Ragnar. And this brings to the point where Africanized hives and European hives are all enemies of each other.
Wow.
The only reason that bees from one hive visit another hive is to steal honey. There ain't no cup of sugar here, It's to steal honey. That's all the only reason. And that is another reason these Africanized hives are so damn good at what they do. Because they can go in and raise havoc, like I was saying before, World War B, kill all the bees, take the honey, they don't give a shit, or move in, much worse. So, but when the flowers are gone and the temperature gets colder and they have nothing to do, like now I'm getting a lot of calls from people who have hummingbird feeders.
Oh, yeah.
My God, I can't get near it. The birds can't get near it. And, well, you should be taking on your hummingbird feeders anyway, because the hummingbirds migrate and, you want them to go south. And the only remedy for hummingbird feeders is take the damn thing down at night. That's the only remedy. Yeah. It's a bar. It's the local bar. And even though they will come from a 3-mile radius, everybody loves a corner bar. And so they could be under your neighbor's shed or worse, under your shed, in which case you're going to be calling us anyway. Another thing is like dog bowls, horse troughs, even garbage cans. Maybe somebody's been at the gas station and seen bees all over the garbage can. Okay, for all of you out there, I got 2 tricks for you. And one is garbage cans. When you take the bag out, your outdoor garbage can, if there's bees all over it, pour a quarter cup of bleach in the bottom, put a new bag in, no bees. They hate chlorine. Everything hates chlorine in concentrations. All right, there are only 3 things that especially Africanized bees hate that they do not attack. Most things that these bees hate, they attack. I mean, almost everything, except for vinegar, chlorine, bleach, and these pheromones that we use. So the bleach thing, well, that was pretty straightforward in the garbage can. But the vinegar thing, okay, this really comes into play in like dog bowls, horse troughs, bird baths, nothing where there's plants or fish, because of course the acidity will kill them. But you put it in the dog bowl or the bird bath, and it's good for the dog to drink and for us to drink too. Vinegar. Yeah. Cider vinegar, I love for us to drink. And bird bath, great for the birds to bathe in. But the bees hate the acidity. And so so if you got problems with your horse trough or your bird bath or whatever, a little cider vinegar, figure out your ratio. People always ask how much. It's like, I don't know, what size is it? Figure out, keep putting a little more until the the dog will still drink the water, but the bees will stay away. It's very straightforward shit right there, So, but what the Africanized bees see, European bees would never be pissy this time of year.
Wow.
They would be over it. It's like, well, okay, we'll wait till next spring. No, not these guys. In fact, that last job that we did, Hosh, down at Kentucky Killers, there was brood in that. There was
so weird
babies. They were raising larvae this time of year, which is totally ridiculous. The analogy that I can come up with on it is, how like turtles will have 1 million turtles and 2 live. babies, right? And same thing with these guys. They just keep spitting out swarms. Don't care what time of year it is.
Wow.
It's like spitting out babies endlessly. And it's like, calm down, you Africanized bees. Calm down. For them, there is no tomorrow. It's just right now, and we're going to get it all done right now. European bees when fall comes, even before winter, when fall comes, the queen stops laying eggs completely. So about half the hive dies due to attrition, just dies off. And there's less mouths to feed for the winter. Now they also kick all the boys out on the porch to starve.
Whoa.
Yeah, the similarities between humans and
harsh.
bees are just harsh. It's too. So, and because the drones can't even feed themselves, they're totally fucked. And so they starve. So they reduce their numbers in the hive. Queen stops laying eggs. This is where I'm getting back to all the brood comb we're seeing. Fucking out in left field. What in the hell is that about? That's sci-fi for beekeepers.
Wow.
Total sci-fi. Yeah, we must have some questions.
Yeah, so your Africanized sting versus any other kind of
Oh,
sting.
Africanized sting
Are they
versus.
the same? Are they more venomous?
Yeah, no, this is a really good question actually, because people are like, and how big are they? Man, they're hell on windshields. Okay, they're not that big. They're the same fuck size. Never mind. All right. Anyway, no, the stings are the same. They're a honeybee with the genetics that are different. The stings are the same. They make twice as much honey, but the honey's the same. The only difference between different types of honeys is the type of flowers the bees are messing with. That's the only difference. The stings are the same. That's not the issue. It's when you get stung that first time, it sends a pheromone or smell to the rest of the hive. Here's the intruder. And as you experienced, here they come.
Yeah, and they all stung around the same area that I first got stung on.
That is exactly the point.
Yes.
That is the target. That's where the pheromone is. They will fly past everybody else to try to kill you.
Yeah, they followed me to the truck. I
That's
ran in
right.
the truck.
Which was a long ways away, actually.
Yes, and they followed me in the truck.
Into the truck.
Yes, they did.
Yes.
Yes.
I only brought her for bait, actually. I'm sorry. I tell you that now. No. now
That's
we
how
have
we
hosts.
eradicate them. Send me out there. And
Now
they'll
we have
follow me
hosts.
out.
Now we have hosts. We can
Yeah.
No, that is the target then, where that pheromone has been released. And so, but once so much of that attack pheromone is released, I have seen the air so saturated with pheromone that they're stinging literally everything. I mean, telephone poles, tires, birds flying overhead, dead on trees. Doesn't make any difference. They're fucking nuts, you know.
Yeah.
It's just all pheromones. It's attack pheromones, and so it was neat for you to experience that firsthand, because some people say it's not a memory, it's a scar, but no, a trooper, total
But I'm
trooper.
willing to go do this again.
See, there you go.
But I
'cause-
feel safe, and you make me feel safe.
Thank
and
you.
Everything was covered during that bee removal.
Thank you. Yeah, it was hairy,
That's important.
because these damn things were up 30 feet
Yeah.
in that tree limb, and then there was the one over the lake that we had to cut that tree limb in. Oh, it was a fucking nightmare. It was just a
Yeah.
cluster. And of course, two hives close together like this is always a nightmare, because even though every hive is an enemy of every other hive, the attack pheromone's the same.
Oh, wow.
And so when one gets riled up, they all get riled up, and they're still enemies.
Wow.
So I have seen it. It's just total mayhem. It's like some weird zombie sci-fi movie where there's bees trying to kill each other, trying to kill birds flying overhead, trying to kill us, trying to just kill everything. It's just It's just so much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, OSHA's seen it. It's just
Well, yeah, I can't, thing that cracks me up is when they're stinging up the phones.
oh god.
Yeah.
For some reason, they absolutely hate the
They
black
hate the
cases on the phone.
phones.
They hate them. I mean, and the microphones and whatnot. And there will be around the rubber cases, because we have really good cases for the phones. There will be hundreds, if not thousands, of stingers, because when they sting and they sting into the rubber and then disembowel themselves. Dinner talk. And it's total side. It's so weird, because they literally disembowel themselves. You know what I tell everybody is, when they attack, they all turn into white blood cells,
Yeah.
because they will sacrifice themselves willingly, as you've seen.
Yes.
And so the damn cameras will be so full and of stingers, and thus pheromones, and so they're just covering the lenses, and makes for great footage.
Now, how long does the pheromone last on you when you get stung?
Oh, this is a really good question, because most people do not realize this. It doesn't just go away, and you can't wash it off your skin. It's subcutaneous. It goes into your bloodstream. So for up to a week, depending on your metabolism, you're marked. You got to watch any hive you go by.
So whether you're covered up with clothing or whatever, it doesn't matter.
Yep, they can smell. It's all pheromones.
Wow.
Yep, they can smell it. Like I'm giving off drone pheromones as we speak.
I spray you with vinegar.
Yeah,
And see what happens.
not bleach. Vinegar
No.
would be better.
Would that work actually?
Uh,
Or nothing?
no.
you-
Once the pheromones in the air, it's over.
Oh wow.
Once the pheromones in the air, then it's over.
Then you need to stay inside for a week.
Especially if
much.
it's 30 below out. No, of course
No, for
nobody.
real, though, like,
yeah, nobody's.
yeah.
Although when I've told a lot of the old cowboys and ranchers out here, they call me up, and I had one guy call me up and he said, I got stung 4 days ago, and the only reason I'm calling you is two reasons. Yes, I got to schedule with you to come get the damn things, but also every time I walk out of my screen door, they attack again, and so I explained to him that. You can't wash it off your skin. It's subcutaneous, goes into your bloodstream, blah, blah, blah. And also, though, I've had more than one instance of delayed reaction with venom.
Oh.
Scary shit here.
Yeah.
Where you get stung and you're fine. And I had this one old cowboy tell me this, and he was fine, went back to work, was on the horse or something. 4 days later, he's in the hospital
Wow.
from that attack. I don't know what the hell that's about. It's total sci-fi. What the fuck is going on with these bees, And every year, even after 30 years of doing this, every year is it's like sci-fi. I have no idea what to expect.
Yeah.
Usually aggression. Like, what are they going to do next? How much meaner can they get?
Gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? We got to go into the bee suit fashion industry.
Yeah.
Everybody. I was actually out on Frontier Road out here.
Clothes made of bee suit material.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like a good look if we do it right. I was out on a driving up Frontier Road one day, and I looked off to the right, and here's a guy on a riding lawnmower in a bee suit.
Wow.
And I stopped and I said, George, what the fuck? What are you doing? He said, them damn swarms flying over, and they veer off and attack people and livestock unprovoked, which is another sci-fi thing. Swarms used to be the most benign thing in the world. And he said, and beside that, it keeps a lot of the mosquitoes and no-see-ums off. And so I was like, man, it's a good look, George. It's a good
Wow.
look.
That's serious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So fashion.
Well, mowing. I mean, how many people do we see get in trouble doing yard work?
Oh, yeah. Oh, weed whackers. Yeah. I mean, all of them. It's a real nightmare. I've gotten every year, I get a couple of calls from usually a woman. They'll say, my husband was out mowing the lawn. He got into him. He's in the hospital. Can you get out here? And I'll race out there, and the riding lawnmower still going around in circles out in the yard with nobody on it. Or the weed whackers are laying there covered in bees. Yeah. Or the backhoe is up against a tree just churning dirt. People get into trouble with killer bees for two primary reasons. I didn't know they were there.
Yeah.
Well, you got to give them that, You didn't know they were under the shed. Be observant. I mean, look around your property. I know, I saw it. We got one
Literally
killer.
a killer bee.
We have a killer bee that's sniffing around Hosh. Like I said, that's why we bring him.
If you say the word too many times, they start showing up.
Yeah, they're like,
apparently.
you rang?
Yeah.
Uncle Fester. Oh, God, there it is.
Yeah.
Look at that. There it is.
And so how should I react actually while this bee's near me? I'm going to stay calm. What should I do?
I'm here. What?
If you weren't here and I'm alone and there's a bee coming at me like this, what should I do?
This is a real, you remember back in the day when grandma would say, well, if a angry bee is flying around you, just hold still
Yes.
and don't swat it. It'll go away. Unfortunately, those days are over.
Oh.
Yeah. If now an angry bee is different than a bee just sniffing around. The pitch is higher, and if they bounce off of you, well, then you got to turn around and go back the way you came, period. Because you're too close to the entrance to a hive. And there's two schools of thought on that when they bounce off of you. Is that a warning shot?
Yeah.
Heck no, it's a missed shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, these guys are not nice.
They're going for it.
They're going for it. It just happened to miss.
So this one that came at me just now, and I did stay still with you.
Yeah.
I know we're not near a hive right now,
No,
but
no. And like I was saying, it could be coming from a mile away, 2 miles away, up to 3 miles away. Because we have water here. We got the ponds and whatnot. And it just smells so fucking good. It's just what it is. They're sniffing around right now.
Right?
Yeah, they're sniffing around. I mean, we've been sitting here for a little bit. We smell like whatever we smell like,
Yeah.
food or whatever we put on, or our pheromones or whatnot. And I mean, there are always those people that the bees go to first. You know, it's like that person you want to take camping or elk hunting because all the mosquitoes.
Yeah, I'm that person. I don't know why.
Oh, it's awesome! I'm so glad that Westward is here for. She's here for
I
us.
collect the bees and the mosquitoes.
Awesome!
Yes.
Oh my god, triple suit. We're gonna triple suit. That's gonna be so much fun. Oh my,
Suit
oh my god.
Yeah, so are foraging bees ever aggressive?
Oh my god, I've been saying this for a few years now. Holy shit. Oh my god, if foraging bees get aggressive, we're pretty much screwed. Then we're really going into the bee suit fashion industry. Because if bees on flowers start attacking us, they're already fighting each other. And European bees, when we used to have them, they're already fighting each other for nectar, for food source. And for housing, of course. That's, you'll come in and, steal all the honey and move in. Not yet. Fuck, I hope they don't. Foraging bees attacking us? Wow. Now here's a weird change in behavior which I have trepidations about it, is swarms, like a bumblebee hanging in a tree. Used to be the most benign thing in the world. Least they would never ever be aggressive at all. In fact, I wouldn't wear a suit. Without a glove, I would reach my hand in the middle, wiggle, 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 cup where I thought the queen was. If I had her, I'd have the bumblebees on the hand.
Wow.
Great at elementary schools. All the kids with their faces plastered. I'd make them all go in, of course. All their faces plastered up against glass. He's Superman. It was awesome. Now, a ball of bees like that is what killed Dan Oldfield. Wow. Yeah, ball of bees hanging in a tree. And he thought, I knew Dan well, drank with him for 30 years. I mean, he was just, a character, shall we say. That's all we have down here in Bisbee, right? Yeah. Characters, yeah. Anyway, he thought he'd save himself a few $100, got on the backhoe, and was going to joggle him loose, and they killed him. So it does worry me about foraging bees. Another thing, like swarms flying over, like a cloud of bees flying over. We're having instances more and more every year in the summer. Ranchers will call me up and say, there was a swarm flying by, half of it veered off and attacked my goats unprovoked. What the hell? Yeah. Totally out in left field. Totally out in left field. Yeah.
Can you talk about native pollinators, bumblebees?
Oh, I would love to talk about native pollinators. Here, hold that for a second. Do you need some water?
Good, thank you.
Good, awesome. Every time I talk about pollinating, I need to drink some water. What? Anyway.
Oh my God.
Native pollinators. This is a problem with honeybees, everybody. And it's really hard for everyone to get their head around that honeybees are... Okay, let's start in the beginning here. We say the name of our nice, respected, loved, gentle honeybees. They were European honeybees. European honeybees. Let's say it one more time. European honeybees. They're not Midwestern honeybees. They're not Florida honeybees. They're not Southwestern honeybees. They're European honeybees. They don't belong here. They're invasive to the Western Hemisphere. In fact, Native Americans hated us so much when they first known to come over, the Europeans brought them on their ships. They called them white man's flies, and that was the nice ones. I have a map up at the end of the last few YouTube vids that I did. It's at the very end credits, and it shows the infestation of European honeybees from the east coast to the west. It's just cooler than hell. Now, of course, Africanization was south to north because they, came from Brazil originally. Well, east to west, the earliest known European honeybees in the Western Hemisphere was in the 1600s, early 1600s. There were no honeybees in Arizona until 1872. Wow. Yeah, it is that weird. So they are invasive to the Western Hemisphere. People lived in the Western Hemisphere for eons without honeybees. We're not going to die without honeybees. They are here. It's a cash crop. It is a financial thing that happens with honeybees. That's it. Pollination. Yes, pollination of almonds and melons and all sorts of shit like that. And without honeybees, we would not have as many of those products available on the shelf. No, we're not going to get rid of honeybees. We're not going to get rid of Africanized bees. We're not going to stop pollination. It's all going to continue. It's good to be aware of what the fuck is going on and why honeybees. Change your mind about the romance with these honeybees, European or Africanized, especially Africanized, is out the window. It's a fantasy. Total fantasy, especially with Africanization because they compete with native pollinators for food source and living for housing. And so they are actually driving to or near extinction a lot of our native pollinators. Bumblebees are in the endangered species list partially because of Africanization of honeybees. They will kill native pollinators on flowers. They're horrible. Now, we have most of our native pollinators in northern Arizona anyway, or I mean, so northern Sonora area here are single solitary honeybees or solitary bees we call them, or small group bees. There are over 1,000 different species just here in like the Tucson, this area, the northern Sonora area, 1,000 different species that these Africanized bees are driving out of business because of competition. Now, pound for pound, bee for bee, the native pollinators are literally 20 to 30 times better at pollinating the native plants than European bees. The thing is most of them are solitary, whereas with honeybees, you got 50,000, 100,000, 200,000 all working as an organism. When they find a field they like, there's always scout bees out farting around. When they find a field that they like, say of mesquite trees or something that have come into bloom, they will go back, and everybody's seen the wiggle dance and all that shit, right? And they can tell everybody else how far it is, what hills they have to fly over, what trees they have to go around to get to that field, and they all go there. It's like a new bar is opened up. And so that drives out the native pollinators from that area. All of our native plants do not need honeybees for pollination. All this stuff is very eye-opening for a lot of people.
Nor do any of our staple crops.
Nor any of our staple crops. Are there any grains that are pollinated by honeybees? No. I mean, alfalfa is, and that's as used as feedstock for the cattle industry primarily, and hog industry. So all of our grains are not pollinated by honeybees. It's a business. That's all that it is. And the romance about honeybee, we're going to die without honeybees. And look, we're doing such a good thing if we keep honeybees in our backyard, we're doing the Mother Nature such a favor. No, you're not. You're actually doing the opposite. We need honeybees for 3 things. We like honey. Awesome. Not arguing with anybody there. We need them to pollinate our fruit trees and gardens, which are mostly invasive, and big ag, the big pollination. None of this is going to stop. All right, people accuse us, because of you, we're all going to starve and all the honeybees will be gone. Jesus, I'm good, but I ain't that fucking good. And I'm awesome, and thank you and everything. I appreciate it, but man.
You'll eradicate every single one.
Oh my God. Next is mosquitoes on my. Yeah, it's it has been for decades why I stopped. After the bees, then it's mosquitoes, and then I think flies. I'm good.
Yeah.
I am.
You know, someone asked earlier on there if bees have a natural enemy.
You're looking at
it. Yeah.
You're looking at it.
Is there really anything that
we have what's called a kingbird here that will swoop in front of a hive and eat individual bees as they fly out. I mean, yellow jackets love to eat honeybees, and they are a scourge on the European populations. Beekeepers hate them. Jackets go in because they're meat eaters, and it's a cheap meal, basically. But the honeybees are invasive. So this was the yellow jackets went, thank you. Wow, buffet. Wherever European hive is. Africanized bees fend off everything, except you looking at it.
I was drought.
Well, right, Mother Nature, of course, drought.
And sub-zero, if we had an ice age, another ice age come through.
Right, if we had an ice age come through, of course, that would drive a lot of shit out. Or drought is bad, all that natural stuff, of course. But other than that, no, there is no. I mean, disease used to be a huge problem with honeybees. But that was why these damn things were bred. It got rid of that issue. All of the diseases don't affect your Africanized honeybees. Colony collapse, big yawn. And by the way, that's over. That's old news. Colony collapse is done. Veromites, tracheomites, European hives still have all these problems. Africanized, they don't give a shit. And they're so prolific at what they do.
Here's a funny question.
What do we got?
What is honey and how do they make it?
Oh, that's actually a really good question. What is honey and how do they make it? That is really good. Honey is magic. Straight up. It is alchemy. It is totally amazing. When the honeybees go and collect the nectar from the flowers, it's around 97% water, 3% sugars and whatever else is in there. They bring that back to the hive, and it can take them up to a month to turn it into honey. It's not instantaneous. So when they bring it back, they literally regurgitate it. They have a honey stomach. So you've heard, honey is bee barf. It is. It's awesome. And so they regurgitate it, give it to another bee, and they'll pass that around a while, and then they'll put it into a cell. Now the process starts where the worker bees will come and take up that little bit of honey and into their honey stomachs, which have enzymes in them, and they will, through the action of the enzymes and dehydration, they will turn that into honey. So they dehydrate it by fanning it with their wings, and they also, the enzymes act with the nectar to turn it into honey. So honey is around 17%, all right, moisture. Any more than that, and it'll ferment, and you'll get wine. Oh, darn. Or mead, honey wine. So less than that, and it'll crystallize, but it'll never go bad. Honey is the only natural food that never, ever goes bad, ever. They found it in Egypt, in the pyramids, 4,000 years old, still just fine. So, it never loses its flavor, of course, never loses its mineral content, vitamin content, etc. Isn't that just like sci-fi? It just goes to show how sugar is a preservative, like salt is a preservative, etc. But so that is basically what honey is and how it's made. And I tell you, most of it is a complete mystery to me. And I'm sure there are scientists that know exactly all the processes that happen, but it's just magic. It's just awesome. What other kind of questions we have? How many folks we got with us, Hosh?
We've got about 400.
Oh, right on. Right on. Well, I'm glad to have you guys along.
Yeah.
I know it's been a few days since we did a live stream. We're going to be doing more of them, of course. These Q&As, I'd never get old. This is so much fun. Really thank you guys. And if you want to get some honey, of course, go to killerbeeguy.com. And I've got a 20% off special right now for the holidays. You type in KBG, that's KB, Killer Bee Guy, get it? KB, okay, anyway. KBG1, number 1, and you get 20% off your order. So, yeah, go get some honey. Daddy needs a new bee suit. So go get some honey.
The African bees, the purebred African bees.
Yes.
Yeah, were they aggressive?
Well, now this is very interesting. I was in Tucson doing a show, 4th Ave Street Fair, actually, many years ago, and selling the honey and whatnot. And this South African beekeeper comes up, and he says, what is all this hype that I hear about these bees, the Africanized bees? He knew that, killing horses and attacking people, and what the hell's going on? And I said, well, it's not a myth or anything. That happens all the time. He said, I am a South African beekeeper. I have 200 hives in my horse pasture. I said, of pure African bees. And I said, what, are you trying to kill your horses? And so after, he said, no. They are known to be a little more aggressive. Like there are aggressive European honeybees. Absolutely. And the African bee is known to be slightly more aggressive than the European bee. Of course, what they didn't know was when they crossbred them, came up with the Africanized, we're going to blow the lid off the damn thing. So the African bee is, yes, a little pissier than European bees, nothing like Africanized, but yes, they also make twice as much honey, up to, that was a reason for the crossbreeding, and disease resistant, tough as nails. So, great question, actually. Really, really good question. Yeah. Who else has something for me? Anything important? I'm kind of winding down here, guys.
Yeah. Well, the question about the gender of the bees in the hive. Are they male? Are they female? All of that kind
Well, there's basically 3 types of bees in the hive. Okay, there's the queen bee. Now, she is the only one that's capable of laying fertilized eggs. Okay, then there's the worker bees. Those are the ones that you see doing everything. They're the ones chasing you down the street. They're the ones pollinating the flowers. They're the ones making the honey. Then there's the drones, the males. They can't even sting. Their rear ends are only good for one thing. That's a whole nother program. That's the other channel. So they can't even feed themselves. They're just couch potatoes. So the first one, remember I said the queen, she's capable of laying fertilized eggs. Well, both her and the worker bees are capable of laying unfertilized eggs. So, right? I mean, if your chicken lays an unfertilized eggs, what do you get? An omelet. So this is so weird though, because from every unfertilized egg that is laid, the only thing that comes from it is a male, is a drone. Isn't that sci-fi? It's like even after 30 years, I still just, it's like, what the fuck? Is this real? You know, it's so much fun. So that is the 3 different genders in the hive. It's basically 2 genders. It's the male, the females, with the queen being the one that's been on the mating flight and can lay fertilized eggs. So great question. Great question. Yeah. So we're winding down, folks. We're going to take a little break and go do something else, go be important somewhere else. You know how it is. So we love you guys. Thank you so much for coming along with us. I know a lot of you hate to see us go, but, you know, I got other stuff to do. I got to go iron my cape, and the tights are binding, and, you know, it's a Superman thing. But anyway, love you guys. Stay with us. I mean, keep your eyes peeled. We never know when we're going to go live stream. We're going to be doing some stuff around Bisbee, just all sorts of fun shit going on in Bisbee all the time. And Westward's going to be working with us doing that, and, you know, manning the camera, and Hosh and I will have fun. What?
Where can people see the full-length videos?
Oh, well, the full-length videos go to YouTube. Okay, TikTok is great for the little 1-minute jobs, a lot of fun and all that shit. That's what TikTok is. The long vids, the full-length movies, please go to YouTube. And thank you, subscribe, of course. Thank you. I mean, you know, we educate. We're going for an R-rated educational documentary approach. You're welcome. So go to YouTube. Please watch our full-length vids. I just put one up, bringing down the house. You will not believe this shit. The ceiling had fallen in on this house. The comb was hanging from underneath it. It was a complete cluster, complete nightmare. Go and watch it. We love you guys. Say goodbye, Hosh.
All right. See you, everybody.
Come and say goodbye, Westward.
Oh.
Oh, look at, I'm going to drag her out again. Oh, say goodbye.
Bye.
So you're going to be seeing more of her. So there. Okay, guys. See you later.
Bye.